Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to this new video where we are going to keep working on the structure of the car. So first, let's adjust a little more these fenders, which are these tubes resembling half a sphere. To be more precise, we are going to place them closer to the car. Of course, we'll need to move the tires too. So take the symmetry and drag it a bit. The same with the fenders. Okay, a little bit. Perfect. This part with the windows is also a bit narrow, so let's take the car and select the point mode. Then go to the side or front view, depending on how you placed your car, and manually select the points. Remember to have the Only Select Visible Elements box unchecked. Select all the points and move them. Yeah, we move them a little bit to the side. As you can see, if we move these points, the structure of the car changes a lot. Guys, let's go to this view and select the top points. Like this. After that, we are going to narrow that part a bit. Guys, I insist that we can modify the structure as we want. For example, now, selecting these button points, we can make the base a little wider. Okay, and now we are going to continue with the bumper. To begin with, create a cube. And we are going to place it closer to the front of the car before starting to model it. Scale it down and place it over here. Great, more or less like this. And now from this part, make it editable pressing the C key. After that, select these two polygons and make extrusion. And now, select these two polygons that we just formed out of the extrusion and make another extrusion. Like that. Great. This is fine. Okay, now go to this part of the car and select this polygon. We are going to make an inner extrusion. This way, we'll begin to define the actual shape of the car. Remember to have the Preserve Groups box checked and then make a normal extrusion inwards, like this. Let's return to the bumper for a moment and let's make some cuts. What we have to do is check in the Only Select Visible Elements box and then select these polygons. Go to the front view of the car and make some cuts roughly. One here, more or less, another here, and another one, two similar on the other side. Return to the main view and make an extrusion for these new parts, like this. See? And this would be another part of the bumper. Okay, and now we are going to make the headlights. To do this, we are going to create a sphere. Perfect. Then in type, change it from standard to hemisphere. Perfect. And now we have a half a sphere. Rotate it 90 degrees. Okay, like that. Perfect. And after that, lower the number of segments to 14, for example, or 15. So you prefer, both are fine. And scale it down and place it properly. Like before, we are going to work with symmetry, so we need to create just one of these spheres. Okay, I think here is fine. And perhaps we could do now a cylinder to use it as a detail for the headlight. To do this, we are going to create the cylinder, or actually a tube, scale it down. Guys, remember that the inner radius controls the inner edges of the tube. We want something like this, kind of. So now we'll need to scale it down again. And we are going to move it here. Okay, next to the headlight. Over here. Don't know if you remember, but I told you before that we can lower the amount of segments if we want a more low poly effect. I think a value of 30 is okay. And now take the sphere and raise the number to 18. I think it will look better that way. Now select these two objects and group them. Why do we want to do this? Because we are going to use symmetry object and we need these two objects to act together as if they were one. So, parent this group we've just created to the symmetry. Then, for the symmetry, change the mirror plane to XY. Okay guys, what else? For example, we can create a cube to make the license plate. It's very easy. Just take the cube, scale it down, and place it wherever you want. Obviously, it's supposed to be here in this place at the rear of the car. So guys, we can also make these details for the rear end. I mean, we can duplicate this bumper and place it on the rear of the car, so let's do it. This time we won't be working with symmetry objects because maybe later we'll modify the structure of the car some more. The bumper could end up being lower or more to the outside, so that's why it's better to work with an individual bumper. So, with this one selected, we copy it by pressing Ctrl+C and we rotate it 180 degrees. Well, here, for example, we need to modify these points over here. So just select them and make them shorter. Okay, and in case you need to do more adjustments, so just select the points and go ahead. If there were a horizontal cut here, we could adjust this better. I think you noticed that we need to play with the number of polygons. The more polygons we have, the higher the number of details we can create. Let's select both bumpers. And I think I'm going to shorten them a little bit. Okay, like this. And also the other one. Just scale it down, dragging this blue point. Now, in this side, we are going to create a cube. And once you have it, place it right here. Okay, I'm reducing it and I'm placing it here. Okay, it's already adjusted. And what we are going to do now is making a couple of cuts in the middle. So, click the plus sign only once. And now select the cube and parent it to a new symmetry object. Change the mirror plane to XY. Great. Let's continue with the details. We're going to focus on the rear end. We are going to create a cube, and later on, we're going to check the fillet box to give it a more organic look. For now, let's modify it by scaling it down. Okay, and a bit more, perfect. Now I'm going to put it here, more or less. Okay, I think here is fine. What do you think? And now if we check the fillet box, we can make this side more organic and reduce its hardness. For example, we can reduce the fillet radius and also the subdivisions. Okay. I think it's fine. 2.493 and 3 subdivisions. It's fine. And now we are going to duplicate this by dragging it while holding Ctrl. Well, before doing that, scale the object down a bit and now duplicate it. Okay. Group these two by right-clicking and choosing Group Objects. There it is. And create a symmetry object and parent the group to it. Then change mirror plane to XY. There's no license plate over here, so let's select the front one and first of all, let's put it closer to the bumper. Before working with the symmetry, we are going to place a text on the plate, for example, a number. This will give it a little more detail. To make the text, open this menu and click Text. I'm going to type a random number. Okay. Let's say B-673195. We can change the font here. I guess you know about it. To avoid making this video much longer, I leave this font. And now that we have this, we're going to create an extrude object and then parent the text to it so that it gets some volume, like this. We're going to rotate it 90 degrees. And okay. Did you see what happened? The volume is actually incorrect. So let's go to Extrude Object. And here we have the parameters that we must change. Do you see this 20 in the axis? That's not right, so change it back to 0 and then enter 20 for the x-axis. Scale it down a lot and place it properly. So guys, let's select the extrude object and then we can group it here. Once it's done, we can duplicate it. Okay, the text is in there, but not in the plate, so grab this cube and drag it inside the group. You can name all these elements however you like to avoid any kind of confusion. Now select this group and duplicate it, this time with no symmetry. We are going to place it back here, okay? Well, I said we want to use a symmetry object for the same reason as before. If we change the structure of the car, the license plate could end up in the wrong place. Just take it to the bumper. Okay, like this. Okay, I think over here is fine. And let's go now to the front part. We could give it more details. So we're going to create a cube and scale it down like that. As you can see, we are working always with cubes and primitive shapes. So place it in the center, over here more or less. And now we can duplicate this cube manually or using the mograph menu. You already know that in this menu you can find the cloner. The cloner is often used when you would need a lot of elements. In this case we only need 3 plates, so I think a cloner is not necessary. So just delete the cloner and do it manually. Like this, 2 plates below. Okay. Well, this depends on what you want. If you wanted more plates, a cloner would be useful, obviously. And now I'm going to use the cloner so that you can see how it works. So, go to mograph, press on cloner, and then parent the cube to the cloner. You'll see that the plate is not visible, but don't worry. It just went to the center of the scene. So let's move the cloner. Here, as you can see, we have 3 plates by default. We have here the mode, which currently is in linear. That's fine. And here we can decide how many plates we want. And here we can control the distance between them. Let's lower the number to 12, for example, and let's have 4 plates. Now place them over here. And if we want to change the color, go to transform and choose one that is more suitable. Okay, let me tell you that in the cloner, we can check the render instances box to make the cloned object actual clones, which is better for projects where we have a lot of cloned objects. If we made this editable, we would see that we would only have 1 plate. As we are only working with 4, it's better to have this box unchecked. Okay, let's move on. We're going to create a little air intake on the hood of the car. So take the car and select this polygon. As we did before, with the Restrict to Selection box checked, make a cut and click the plus sign once. Now select the edges and change the scale like this. Yeah, see, I'm moving this a little bit. Select again this polygon. Great. And make 2 horizontal cuts. One here and another here. Select the polygon and make an extrusion. Okay. And scale it down. Okay, a little bit on the top. Okay, we can now select these points and modify this air intake a little bit. So, select them and move them up. Great. Now, take this polygon and make an inner extrusion. We could now create some cubes to make the door handles, for example. There are still some details left, so let's finish this before going to the next video. To create the door handles, we only need some cubes. Okay, like that. It's not very complicated, so make it easy. Don't worry about it. As you can see, we can also move this part up a little bit. If, for example, if we select these points, okay, let's see if we can. Okay, yes, and now on the other side. Okay, did you see how I moved this part up a bit? Okay, guys, pay attention to what I'm doing because you might find it useful. Well, as I told you before, we can also modify the rear end if we want to. For example, we can select this polygon and using the line cut tool, and we are going to make a cut that goes from here to here. Now, we could modify this area slightly. To do that, we select these points that have been created and we can move them outwards or even upwards. Let's go to the front part and do a similar thing. Select the points that you think that need modifications to improve the area. Okay, this thing here too. I think we should have done this before, but well, just have patience. Once you have selected the points, modify them. Okay, there was a missing point here. Oops! And okay, we have to deselect these ones. Be careful. Let's see, we have all of them now. Okay, now you can move them up a little bit to the front. Yeah, like this. All right. Okay, let's leave this for now, and in the next video we'll keep working on the other parts. Don't forget to place this door handle in the correct position. And after that, remember to create the symmetry. Don't forget, guys, that the symmetry object is located in here. Then mirror plane XY. Okay, let's continue in the next video. See you!